yes, would you like to sing a carol?
Yeah, if I must.
Oh, good.
Which one, though?
Ding dong merrily on high.
Yes.
All right.
Go on, Cliff. You start off and we'll join in.
Are you still into pence?
Oh, yes, we want to swing them like mad.
Right.
Yes, we're all well into pants here.
Ding dong, ding dong, merrily on high, in heaven the bells.
What's the
You
matter?
are going to join in, aren't you?
Oh, of course you're going to join in.
Oh, it's so good, my hat fell off.
I've done this before.
Yes, we'll join in, Cliff. Go
Okay.
on, start again.
Right. Ding dong, merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing, singing merrily the sky. Oh, there! Oh, stop! Oh. Haven't you got a profile or something? Have you got a profile of somebody really good?
Sing up, Cliff.
Young ones, darling, we're the young ones, and the young ones shouldn't be afraid to live low while the flame is strong, 'cause we may not be the young ones very long. Used to think that life was sweet, used to think we were so complete. I can't believe you throw it away. Used to feel we had it made, used to feel we could sail away. Can you imagine how I feel today?
No, it's not going. Keep
We're all
going on a summer holiday. No more worries for a week or
Here we are.
two.
This is for the summer holiday.
And laughter on a summer holiday.
Oh, don't forget though, it's in the winter. Oh, you better have enough.
La 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 la. We're going where the sun shines brightly.
Keep warm.
We're going where the sea is blue.
Do I have to do this?
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, children singing Christian rhyme, with logs on the fire, gifts on the tree, a time to rejoice in the good that we see, a time for living, a time for believing.
Ah, Cliff, I had to come and rescue you.
Oh,
I got
that's
you
all right.
out of there, got
I
you
know
into
how
the
to
grotto.
deal with those
You
lot.
know how to handle a singing corner, don't you? You sort of ignore them, call them nasty names and run off quickly over to the grotto. Before we do the prize
This is the
pick-
grotto, is it?
This is the grotty grotto. No,
Right.
it's lovely. It's a beautiful grotto. Beautiful grotto. I've got a fax for you.
Oh, have you?
We don't often get faxes sent to this programme. This is very grand.
Why don't I
You're
let them
the
send it to
first
my
one.
office?
No, they wanted it to be here for
Oh,
you when
right,
you
okay.
arrived. It's from Andrew and Lisa Frost, which is quite nice, isn't it? And they say, Happy Christmas to you all. Could you please ask Cliff Richard if he could say hello to my mum, Sue Frost, who's one of his big fans.
Hello, Sue Frost. What a nice name for Christmas.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
She's
Happy
been to see you
Frosties.
at the NEC in Birmingham last month and is going to see you at Wembley on the 1st of Jan.
Oh, it's the same show, you know, Sue.
No, she doesn't care. She buys all your records, CDs, videos. She thinks you're great. See that? She even bought 4 of your T-shirts so she can wear them all the time.
All at the same time.
Yeah, in rotation, I think. Happy Christmas, Cliff. My mum doesn't know I've sent this, but my dad has helped me. Love, Lisa Frost. What a nice
well.
Christmas present.
Have a wonderful Christmas, you frosty people.
Now, you're going to be our press conference guest later on this
Yes, I
morning.
am, yeah.
So get your calls into Cliff on 081 811 8181. But before you're allowed to do that, you've got to help us with some prize picks. here.
Alrighty.
We've got the Walt Disney the question first of all.
what, just one from each of these?
Just one from this one, I think
Alright,
it
I'll
is.
dig
That's
down
right.
and
We
get-
wanted to know who plays the Sorcerer's Apprentice in Fantasia.
Okay, well, the answer here says Mickey Mouse is the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
He is indeed.
And
Who
this
else?
And this is from,
it's from
Nathan,
you.
Joseph and Megan Kempster in Suffolk.
Well done, Nathan, Joseph, and Megan.
Yeah.
That's 3 of you there. You're going to share 6 Walt Disney videos. Well, that's nice.
Wow,
2 each.
fantastic.
You get Lady and the Tramp, Mary Poppins, and also Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and a very, very, very Merry Christmas video of
Quite
songs.
like to have won that myself.
It's a brilliant prize.
Fabulous
actually.
prize,
All
yeah,
those
it's
lovely,
wonderful.
lovely Walt Disney films.
Yeah, what was
Stephen
this one?
Dennis wanted to know, what is the name when 5 babies were all born at the same time? What's the name for 5 babies all born at the same time? Well, almost at
Answer
the
is
same time.
quintuplets.
Quintuplets, or we would have accepted quins on that.
That's right. Well, and this is from, in fact, Stephen Dennis. Oh, no.
No. Dennis, he
The
said
Stephen Dennis. I thought maybe he'd got put in for his own competition. This is from Paul Sexton, in fact, and from Kent.
Paul from Kent, lovely. And you get, Stefan brought in all sorts of neighbours' goodies. He brought in sweatshirts, T-shirts, mugs, signed photo, a bear, a little cuddly bear there, and a travel bag. Cuddly bear, cuddly toy. Moving on now swiftly. This was a Jet Setters question. This was Tom and Jerry Maggio, the computer hacks, and they wanted to know, what does RAM stand for in computer speak?
Random access memory.
Absolutely.
And this is from Paul Cook, who's only
Paul.
12, and from Wiltshire.
From Wiltshire. And Paul, I hope you're a computer type buff person, because you will get a giant Lego set.
Well, there you go.
You're a Lego buff person as well. The next one was the Red Devils question. Oh yes, this was
Red
Philip.
Devils,
This
hang on,
was
here's this card.
after Philip's big adventure with
What
the
was
Red,
the question?
Red Devils. The question was, what's the name of the Red Devils aircraft and the registration marker number on the side?
Oh, this is Britain Norman, 2T Islander, GORED.
ED, and we would have accepted Echo Delta for the ED at the end of that. Well done.
Great,
was
that's
a tricky
from-
question.
Well, I don't know what all that means.
Britain Norman Islander, yes.
Yeah, well, Jamie knew. Jamie
Yes, he does.
Algar, is it? Jamie Algar
That's it.
from York.
That's it, and Jamie, you will
Well done,
get
Jamie.
a camera, a Red Devils book, a T-shirt, and 2 mugs. Well done, Jamie. The boys are doing very well this morning. I noticed they're
Has it been all boys? Yes, it
Except for the
has.
first one,
Oh,
it's
no.
all boys.
Well,
We've got
that's right.
Megan, one girl
There
so
were
far.
two guys there, that little
Now,
team.
Linda and Pauline, birds of a feather, they wanted to know, what's the name of Tracy's son in the series?
Garth.
Right, the answer's Garth. We would have accepted Garthy, Garth, or Garthy, apparently. We've accepted all those, but Garth will do just fine.
And we got a girl. It's from Katie
Well done.
Katie Lawler, who's 9. And can I have Philip's and Sarah's autograph? Is that all right?
Yes, and you can even have Cliff's.
Oh, right,
There you are,
okay.
because we're feeling very generous
And we'll
today,
send it
it's
to
Christmas.
Cheshire, which is where Katie's from.
Well done, Katie, and you will win all sorts of birds of a feather goodies, including a script, a sweatshirt, 2 videos, and signed pictures of the girls. Thank you very much for the moment, Cliff.
Pleasure,
Will you
pleasure.
come back later?
Yes,
do the
of course.
press conference?
Yes, love
and
to.
And we're going to have a look at you
Are you?
on video. Saviours Day.
Okay.
Now we have been through the harvest. Winter is truly begun. Now we have walked in the chill of the night. We are waiting for the Saviour's day. Many have come from the valleys, many have come from the hills, and many have started their journey home to be with someone on the Saviour's Day. Open your eyes on Saviour's Day. Don't look back or turn away. Life can be yours if you only stay. He's calling you on the Saviour's Day. Joining the old and the young ones, joining the black and the white, meeting the need of the hungry is he. Will we ever remember him on the Saviour's Day? Open your eyes on Saviour's Day. Don't look back or turn away. Life can be yours if you only stay. Saviour's Day. Open your eyes on Saviour's Day. Don't look back or turn away. Life can be yours if you only stay. He is calling you on the Saviour's Day.
Cliff Richard and Saviour's Day. So, poised to take that #1 slot from Vanilla Ice, please. On the throne. Look at
Felt like
this.
I was in Mastermind for a minute.
We've put you on a Christmassy sort of throne there, Cliff. Shall we start with a question from the floor first of all? Phil, Joe.
Hi. Do you still enjoy touring, and is it much different from when you first started out?
Yes and yes. I mean, I love touring. That's why I still do it. A lot of people say, you know, couldn't you afford not to tour anymore? And I suppose I wouldn't have to, but I actually like performing in front of an audience. And the difference between now and what it used to be, you know, I always make a joke about it and say, yes, of course, in the days when the Shadows and I first got started, we did have lighting, but, you know, it was either on or off. So nowadays we have lasers and lights that move and dance around. I've got dancers on stage with me. I really think that probably working on stage live like that is my favourite thing in the whole of show business.
What you do.
Fair enough. Onto the telephones now, and it's line 1. Who's on 1?
John Walker from Guildford.
Hello there, John. Off you go with your question.
Why did you change your name to Cliff Richard, and do your family and friends still call you Harry?
No, they don't call me Harry anymore. I changed it because at the time, for instance, you know, all the rock and roll singers were like Ricky and Elvis and Jerry Lee and, you know, Little Richard. And I thought, Harry. It didn't somehow kind of gel. So I sat down with some friends once, and the last few names that we came up with were Russ Clifford. And I went, oh, that doesn't sound good. They said, what about Cliff Russard? I went, oh, well, the Cliff bit's all right. And then someone said Richards. And then someone else said, not the S off Richards, and you've got Cliff Richard, that's 2 Christian names, but also it's a little tribute to Little Richard. And so I went home that night and told my mum and my sisters, my dad, you know, I've changed my name to Cliff. And they said, all right, Cliff. And they've never called me Harry since.
And that was it, was it? They were quite happy with you doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't actually change my name by deed poll for, well, until a few years ago. But now I'm officially Cliff Richard. I'm no longer Harry Webb. I suppose I could be if I wanted to be, but I don't feel like Harry Webb anymore. I've been Cliff Richard for so long.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for your call.
Courtney. Where's Courtney?
What inspired you to sing, and who was your role model?
Oh, it's really easy for me to answer this one. Elvis. I always say, if there had been no Elvis, I don't think I'd have ever got started. Because there were some wonderful singers out at that time who were still, well, Frank Sinatra's in his 70s and still sings really well. There was Perry Como, Bing Crosby, who's no longer alive, Teresa Brewer, Rosemary Clooney, you won't remember these people, but they are and were fabulous singers, but they didn't inspire my generation to be like them, really. And when Elvis came along, that was it. I mean, I wanted to... In fact, I remember waking up in the mornings thinking, oh, have I become Elvis yet? You know, I'd like to have woken up and been Elvis. I mean, you must have felt that about your favourite stars. So Elvis was my one big, major influence.
Fair enough. Back onto the telephones. And it's line 2. Good morning, who's on 2?
Laura Miles from Sevenoaks.
Hello to you, Laura. Off you go.
Hi, Laura.
If you could give a present to the world for 1991, what would it be?
A present to the world. Oh, dear. You see, the thing is, of course, what everybody would like to see is peace break out all over the world. So that you'd need a whole load of love wrapped up in a box. And I'm not quite sure how you do that, other than as a Christian, I feel biased about it. If I could wrap Jesus up in a box and hand him to everybody, I would.
That would be your present.
Yep. Good
Thank
one.
you very much for that question. Now it's SJ.
What do you find it's like to be thought of as a living legend?
I'm never quite sure about that, because I'm glad you put the living in front of it, because most legends are dead, aren't they? You know, Robin Hood and people like that. I feel very flattered, you know. I think that basically it's come about in the last few years. That kind of title gets attached to people like myself and Elton and a few other people that have been around a while, because we've been around a while, that's all. We're the first generation of rock and roll stars who proved that we were not a flash in the pan and that we could make more than one hit record. And so, therefore, suddenly we've been elevated into this legendary position. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. I don't feel any different to how I've always felt. But if someone writes an article and they say that about me, I I smile and I feel very flattered.
And back onto the phones. And it's line 3. Who's on 3?
Emma starting from Hayes.
Emma, it's nice to talk to you. Away you go with your question.
Hello, Cliff.
Hello, Emma.
As you're such a big superstar, are you lacking anything in your life?
Well, crumbs, that's tough, really, because basically, no, I suppose not. I always wanted to sing. If you were listening to me a few minutes ago, I always said that since Elvis came, I wanted to be Elvis, and of course I couldn't be Elvis, so I became me. And I got the one thing that I really dreamed of, which was having a career like mine. So basically, that put everything right. When I became a Christian, and I realized that Jesus was alive, I thought, that's it, I'm absolutely filled up now, I don't need anything else. And basically, I don't. Basically, I've got all the things I need, but you know what it's like, we're all human beings, so every now and then you think, oh crumbs, I'd like another hit. But that's just being greedy. I'm just being greedy. I'd like to be #1 this Christmas, but that's being greedy as well. I'm #2 and I should be happy with that, but I'm not. So
But you're honest,
yeah. So it's one of those horrible things where really I feel that my answer to you should be, no, I'm really quite satisfied with life, and I'm very lucky and have so many things that I shouldn't really desire anything else.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you for that call. It's not... Is it possible, though, ever to be completely satisfied, whatever you've got, and however ungrateful that might sound?
No, I guess not. That's why, you know, it's such a difficult answer to have to give. That in point of fact, when you look, and I'm lucky, I've travelled to places in the world where they've really got nothing. I came back from a country once, you know, where they were talking to young children who were poor. And then I came back home and talked to people of your age and size. And we were talking about what TV shows they like to watch, like you folk like to watch, how many TV sets you've got in a house, and I suddenly realized that even the poorest person in this country doesn't compare with the poorest person in Haiti or in Bangladesh or the southern Sudan. So people like myself have to consider ourselves even more fortunate, you know? So it's really hard to sort of think, I need anything, and yet human nature, as you say, Sarah, it's terrible of us that we still go on wanting things. Dreadful. I don't know how to fight that.
Taylor wants something. He wants to... Are you Taylor?
Yeah.
Taylor, you want to ask Cliff a question, don't you?
Taylor,
Right.
you don't make suits, do you?
No. Well, how hard was it for you after you had 100 hits to make songs?
It's always been hard, Taylor, I tell you. It seems, I think sometimes people look at me and think, oh, it's easy. It's like now at Christmas time, they all say, oh, well, Cliff always has Christmas #1s. Well, of course, if this one goes to #1, it'll only be my 3rd Christmas #1 in 32 years. So it's not a massive load of them. But it's always hard to find records, particularly as I've never really, for many, many years, I haven't written my own. When I first started, I did write some of my bigger hits with my band, The Shadows. And then I got out of the habit, so now I have to rely on other people who write good songs and who are prepared to give them away. So it's never easy to find hits, and finding my 100th was really difficult, and I don't think it's ever going to get easier. Although I'm glad to say there are still a lot of people who write really nice songs and who give them to people like me. And if I like them, I shall continue to make records.
So you've obviously not got to the stage where you say, oh, well, it really doesn't matter, I'm not bothered.
Oh, no, it all matters. Nobody wants to make a record that's going to flop. OK, you make a mistake every now and then, and one doesn't make it the way you think it should. But basically, any one of us who's made a record wants it to go to #1. We're aiming at the top 5. And so that's why I come back down to being #2. You ought to be satisfied to have got in the top 20, really, particularly at my age.
But he'll still be sitting around the radio, listening to Radio 1 on Sunday, finding out whether he's #1.
I shall be, yes.
Absolutely.
Line 5, who's on 5?
Juliana Windiak.
Hello, Juliana.
What are you doing on Christmas Day?
This sounds like an offer. I'm actually going to be at home with I've got two of my sisters come over, and they bring their children with them, so I've got my nephews and nieces with me. I'll have a couple of friends over as well. We tend not to eat lunch till we don't have lunch actually, we tend to have it like tea time. So that I go to a church thing on Christmas Eve night, so I and my family don't get back to bed till quite late, so we sleep late, then we open prezzies and stuff, and by the time we've got the potatoes and stuff peeled, it's quite late, so we're not going to eat lunch till 4 or 5 o'clock. And then I guess we'll do what everyone else does, which is see what's happening on television, and spend a very lazy, complete Christmas day in a very lazy manner. And that sounds about normal, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, like everybody's Christmas. But how do your family buy you Christmas presents? You must be a nightmare, the man that's got everything.
Well, I suppose it is more difficult, but I'm finding it difficult to buy for other people as well, because you buy presents for people that you know and love, and of course, when you're my age, which is, 30, It means that for all these years I've been buying the same people presents. My problem is remembering what you bought them, say, 5 or 6 years ago, so that you don't double up. Because sometimes you see something, you think, oh, they'd love that, and then you think, well, wait a minute, did I not buy somebody that last year or whatever it was? So it's just as tough for me. But no, I've told my family in the past, it's the thought that really counts. It isn't the value of the present. It's what people think of you. In other words, if people buy you a present, it means they care about you in some way. So that I've said to them, whether it be a tennis ball.
Or some new socks, Cliff, because I'm going to drop a hint now. You do need some new socks. You said that you did.
These were last Christmas
tell me that you don't.
socks, you see. I've still got them, and I can wear them this Christmas, because I haven't got this Christmas lot yet.
Would you do us a favour with your socks?
Yeah.
Would you take your socks and your shoes, and you can put your phone down now, thanks for your call, and wander across to the other side of the studio, and would you just play us out?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much indeed. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Thanks,
and we hope you're number one as well.
Thank you.
Oh, we'll all be listening and seeing.
We are back next week on Going Live with a very special programme. It's our Panto.
It's gone live. But we've also got the turtles and we've got raccoons, haven't we?
Yep, there's also Roland Riveron playing a part, Norman Lovett, Susie Blake, Normsky Sonia, Kim Wilde, Peter Simon, Hothouse Flowers and 24/7.
And it's called Scrooge, A Christmas Carol, but we've sort of scrubbed out the carol and put Sarah.
A Christmas Sarah. It starts at 9:45, so it's a bit earlier next week. Have a fantastic Christmas. We wish you all the very best, and we'll leave you with Cliff.
And we'll
Bye-bye,
see you in the
and Merry
new year.
Christmas.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
The child is a king, the carolers sing. The old is past, there's a new beginning. Dreams of Santa, dreams of snow. Fingers numb, faces aglow. It's Christmas time, mistletoe and wine. Children singing Christian rhyme, with logs on the fire and gifts on the tree. Time to rejoice in the good that we see. A time for living, a time for believing, a time for trusting, not deceiving. Love and laughter and joy ever after, ours for the taking, just follow the master.
It's Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, children sing.
Now we have been through the harvest, winter is truly begun. Now we have walked in the chill of the night. We are waiting for the Saviour's day. Many have come from the valleys, many have come from the hills, and many have started their journey home to be with someone on the Saviour's day. Open your eyes on Saviour's day. Don't look back or turn away. Life can be yours if you only stay. He's calling you on the Saviour's day. you only stay.